Welcome to Candid Conversations with Doc V on the WWW Network, where real talk about real experiences and circumstances is the norm and not the exception to help you heal, rebuild, and transform your life from the inside out and put you back in business. Hi, I'm Doc V, the Pivot Maestro and your corner woman, here to provide truth and transparency in conversation to help you navigate the waters and think without a box. What is my why? You are my why and my motivation to create a safe haven for you, to validate you and your experiences, and to provide hope and freedom in your thinking and being so that you may live the life and lifestyle you were meant to lead. All are welcome to the conversation with our topics running the gamut around issues, women's issues that we face every day in life, the workplace, career transition, and business, always providing revelation, reconciliation, and renaissance with one mission in mind to help you redefine your path and one message: you are mission essential. So believe it. Last week, our pivot was based on my international best-selling book, available on Amazon, Love the Skin You're In, How to Conquer Life Through Divergent Thinking. And I think I have a copy here that I can share that with you. So feel free to pick up a book, a copy. This is my autobiographical love letter to society. So it traces my life from childhood to the present. Well, a few years shy of the present. And, it's about life's lessons, hurts, hangups, habits, how I overcame them. Again, it's called Love the Skin You're In, How to Conquer Life Through Divergent Thinking. And the conversation last week was based on my book, the introduction, specifically the conditioned mind. So we're going to continue that this week. We're continuing the conversation, but on the topic of going against the grain. So yes, so hang on to your seats, going against the grain. And once more, love the skin you're in. So that's me at 3 different points in my life, 3 different times where I had to redefine myself. I'm standing in a boxing ring with a bunch of lights, and those are gloves. And so I equate life and living to the boxing ring. So you'll hear more about that if you read the book, as we talk, the discussions, and so on and so forth. So in the last episode, we talked about the socio-cultural conditioning, thought processes, and systems that were designed to put women in a box, subordinate us, objectify us, and keep us in a state of lack, particularly in self-love. When we wake up from this haze, ladies, when we wake up from the haze to love the skin we're in and understand these constructs, we are poised to take back and own our power. Let me say that again. It's time to wake up, ladies. When we wake up from this haze to love the skin we're in and understand these constructs, and yes, they are constructs, we are poised to take back and own our power. Then it's just a matter of mindset and positioning to walk in your purpose and passion. So this is what society would call going against the grain, right? Let's look at chapter 1 of my book. The Divergent Soul, Going Against the Grain is the title of the chapter. And every chapter I start off with a quote and then a message, dear society, because remember I said this was my love letter. So the quote for Divergent Soul, Going Against the Grain: the very nature of people is something to be overcome. That was Steve Jobs. Dear society, have no fear. Difference is here. Difference is our core strength and the superpower that dwells within us. Difference is nothing to fear. Welcome it, value it, celebrate it. Difference is truly the spice of life that walks among us. And this is the start of the chapter. The morning started off cool and brisk with a gorgeous sunrise over the Potomac. As I peered out the train window on my way into work, I remember contemplating my life journey with a smile on my face, appreciating every experience that had brought me to that moment. I exited the metro in military tight formation with the rest of the crowd and made my way into work. I walked the long halls to my office in my power red suit, feeling particularly well that day, until I encountered a male colleague. Instead of, "Good morning, Virginia, you look particularly happy today," I was greeted with a surprised look, followed by a once over and the comment, "Red suit, huh, bold choice." My initial thought, "Thanks, go bold or go home," right? If I had not personally witnessed his body language, heard his tone of voice, and seen his facial expression, I might have taken the greeting as a compliment. However, it was clear to me that the red color of my suit triggered a conditioned response about its appropriateness in the workplace. His training and cultural conditioning delivered a negative association to his mind upon seeing me, which could not be reconciled with anything other than alarm bells because it was different and out of the norm for a woman in the workplace. You see, red is often associated with rage, anger, danger, power, boldness, romance, and all things scarlet. But think about that range. This is me inserting at this point. Think about that range. But red is also the color for joy, color, energy, courage, strength, vigor, willpower, determination, action, vibrancy, passion, radiance, love, and leadership. Why did my choice that day cause a hiccup in his perception? It was all about perception. His singularity in thinking could not see past his conditioned mind. Every society is built upon a foundation that establishes norms and expectations of behavior through social conventions and constructs. These social norms identify accepted rules and roles of conduct, how to react and not react, what's appropriate and inappropriate for given situations and gender. They have even gone so far as to adopt conventions like protocol and etiquette guides to further establish written rules, procedures, methods, and values, and belief systems for conduct. These constructs usually carry the majority, all or nothing view, and have found their way into societal settings, as well as affinity groups and cultural communities. Why is such importance placed upon norms? They are a way of establishing a controlled identity, a way of being, a sense of belonging, comfort, and expectation. Just as governing tools, social conventions, and are organizational tools utilized to maintain societal order, hierarchy, privilege, and boundaries. Archetypes were developed to support this conditioning, and we are taught these behaviors from birth. Fear of missing the proverbial mark guides our efforts to measure up. Social conditioning plants the desire to look, act, think, and be like everyone else, to conform to the norm as if a mindless drone. Outside of a military environment or a life and death situation, though, it can provide a false sense of security and belonging, lulling participants to sleep and leaving them defenseless against the swings of life. Take, for instance, the seemingly harmless gender role life cycle models for men and women. A male is expected to exhibit athletic prowess from an early age, play with cars, video games, and sports figures, be physically fit, handy, strong, tough, and fearless, go to college and be the best, graduate and be the best in their chosen field, find a wife, procreate, climb the corporate ladder to the American dream, make a lot of money, provide for and protect his family, and win at everything. A female is expected to be delicate, docile, and dainty, play with dolls, pom-poms, kitchen sets, and to dress up. Study and master homemaking. Be smart, but not too smart. Go to college and find a husband. Get married, have children, and take care of the home. And if she has a job, it should not be too demanding. She should ignore her capabilities, sacrifice her dreams, and be content with her station in life. If this cycle is your choice, then it is your choice. But make sure it is your choice. If it is not your choice, defy categorization. So what do we think about that? I know that was a mouthful for an opener, right? That was a lot. Gender roles, categorization. You know, let's first admit societies, they have to build on something, right? This is the foundational structure that those in power who were men put in place to create the environment or to manifest their viewpoint as they saw fit, whether it was as a result of cultural teachings that they learned from their fathers, so on and so forth, or whether it was from religious environments that teach certain relegations of hierarchy of order, what have you, right? But the bottom line is women have always been one of the last considerations, right? Certainly not the first. So when you think about these gender roles that are put into place, these scripts, literally guides that have been written on how to be a lady or how to walk or talk or be with social graces. Now, as we said last episode, I have nothing against that. I grew up a bit of a Southern belle. So nothing against that. But think about it. The point is here to give you revelation, to wake you up, to get your mind thinking about these gender roles, these socioeconomic conditioned mindsets, constructs that have developed a mindset in you that just may be holding you back, that are holding you back from claiming the true you, from walking in your power, your strength, your purpose, your passion. Because back here in the subconscious, that crew is telling you, you're not the captain. That's not your place. You're back here, you're a crew member with us, right? It's that programming that we constantly fight against, that we constantly have to work against. Just today, I was still dealing with and cleaning out some things. They say we teach what we have to learn, right? It's a constant mastery every day because those little voices want to creep back into and want to bring you back to that place where, oh, you're just complacent with the status quo. But no, you were called higher. You were called to greatness. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be listening. So let's get on to chapter 3. Anything but normal, surviving and thriving. The opening quote, if you were always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And that was a quote by Maya Angelou, or is a quote by Maya Angelou. Dear society, who defines normal and why do we buy into it? Living is anything but normal. The world shuns divergence from the normal, but I encourage you to embrace it. Normalcy precludes individuality. What if we all met life with courage and vigor to be who we are and accepted each other for it? What if we all got busy being anything but normal? Then we would all be living and not merely existing. And the opening to that chapter, while we may have had a routine as a child, life was anything but normal. Make-believe and ascribing different personas was the place we lived. Normal, quote unquote, as pertaining to personality or a way of being, was not a consideration. But as we travel through life, some of us start to feel different, not quite comfortable in our own skin, like we don't belong, or even like outsiders trying to fit in. I recall feeling trapped or suffocated by social norms and expectations when my spirit knew those norms and expectations were not meant for me. That was because I was different. You are different, and we're meant to be so. We are outside of the norm. The cookie cutter approach has never worked for us, and our very essence yearns to release its individuality. This was a constant pull at me, and honestly, an unsettling realization to me, particularly with those around me putting on their best cookie cutter imitation and the white noise of social expectations surrounding me. Normalcy is overrated and is stress living. It impedes individuality. Then why try so hard to feel normal? The world may shun divergence, but I encourage it. Your normal should be based on no one else but you. Life is not merely a show, but the ultimate prize fight. It's the epic battle that brings everything except mercy. Winner takes all. Unleash the fighter in you. The ring of life can be brutal and debilitating, with body and head shots from every direction at a rapid pace. Stay off the ropes and out of the corner. Fight your way out if necessary. Channel your fear into strength. Learn to step away from the right jab and counter with a left hook. Keep your feet under you and dancing. If you get knocked out, get up before the final count. Take a knee if you must, then stand up and shake it off. You're okay. Keep your gloves up and step to it. Draw on your spiritual strength for supernatural stamina and ability. You can take and absorb the punishment. Tie up when you need to, but don't back off. Keep the pressure on. You cannot conquer life by playing small or by taking a normal approach. To conquer will require combination skills, patterns of hooks, punches, jabs, and crosses. Fire the jab, stick and move. Circle from around the jab to the left because life knows your strength is in your right hand. Counter with the left hook and work the cut. To find your eye of the tiger, you must be anything but normal. It is your strength. Your opponent will know what is inside of you by the face you wear. Keep that challenger in front of you in perspective, and remember your training as you face life. Embrace who you are and the potential within. Life will require you to be more than, to conquer it. Accept and love the skin you're in. Guys, ladies, gentlemen joining us, it's all about conquering life and understanding that you are more than. Life will beat you down to the ground, to the mat. This is why I love the boxing ring metaphor when we talk about love the skin you're in, because it is a battle. It is a literal battle. And life will try to make you conform to it, to be who you are not, to be something you are not, to follow a path that is not yours, that someone else put you on or that you put yourself on to please someone else, to make someone else happy, or because you've convinced yourself that that makes you happy, when in actuality, it's one of those many masks that we wear, right? Take off the mask, ladies and gentlemen. Take off the mask. It's weakening you. Your superpower lies behind the mask, right? It lies in the true you. That's when you can claim your power. That's when you can own your power, and you can and will be more than. Going against the grain. It's where your superpower lies. If you're just trying to be anything but normal, if you're trying to be normal, right? You're just one of those many. I know you guys have seen those pictures with like umbrellas all the same color, or the pool balls, the balls on a pool table, all the same color, and then the one that's different, right? You can't be picked out. And if you're hiding, if you don't want to be picked out right now, if you have been in that mindset, if you've been just trying to hide amongst the crew, it's time to step forward as the captain. The reason, again, you're still listening, the reason you're feeling a stirring in your soul is because your spirit is trying to move you, because your soul is restless. It's time for you to step out of the shadows. It's time for you to own and stop fearing your greatness within you. Your greatness, no one else's. Your measure of success, your greatness. So let's go into chapter 4 because we have so much to cover. Chapter 4, preparing for the ring, tune into your channel. The quote, "It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." Sir Edmund Hillary. I literally just told you guys that, I was on that. That was a part of my journey today. Understanding that, remembering that, recalling it back into the forefront in the mind, right? As the captain of my ship. So, dear society, Be convinced in your heart and mind that good things are set aside to make way for great things to arrive in your life. You can't do that from the couch. You must train to build stamina, endurance, and strength of mind. You're never going to become who you were meant to be until you prepare. Your answers lie in the ring. Remodel your mindset and face life head on. Be you and no one else. The world is much more complicated place than most people are comfortable believing it is. We fight to stand, we fight to develop, we fight to be who we are, we even fight to simply exist. These are all bouts of life. So recognize them as that and start preparing for the ring by tuning into your channel and being brilliant at it. Challenges will come and are supposed to come to mold, shape, and guide us to our path. The problem arises when we are unprepared to meet life. We easily succumb to the chains of its mental training as a means of survival. With clouded minds, closed to other possibilities, we learn to love our safe and familiar chains, an irrational state made rational. They are a known quantity, and a jailed mind will accept anything, including subjugation and lack. Freedom for some will be a difficult process, but nothing worthwhile ever comes easily. The only way out is through. Reprogramming your thinking will transform and change your way of being. My friend Rena Dial, author of The Brilliance Quotient, would encourage us to listen to what we are drawn to instinctively in tuning into our own channel. The key word is instinctively. In her Love the Skin You're In interview, she emphasized, when you want something, if you are clear about thinking what you want, then chances are that you will get it because your mind will make decisions that will lead you toward it. It might not happen the way you want it to, but it does. She admits being challenged to love the skin she's in for most of her life, particularly from a very literal sense. She had to challenge her own limiting beliefs and assumptions. She says, I grew up with a thing about me not being beautiful because I grew up in a culture whereby dark skin was looked down upon. As a child, these things impact big time. Sometimes we look for beauty and we look for things to make us happy outside us. It's time we look inward and see how beautiful we are. When you become consciously aware through conscious discipline of who you are, not just me waking up one day and saying, this is who I am, but through challenging beliefs, challenging assumptions, listening to your inner voice, fine-tuning intuition. When you do all of these things and realize who you are as a person, one is super powerful and truly much more wiser and greater. Sometimes we have to dig beneath all of these layers we have grown up with through life, through what society has told us, what other people have told us, what other people have said about us, what life experiences have told us to get down to who we are. Knowing who you are as a person, and that is the brilliant quotient. You are then your own benchmark, and you do not have to rate yourself against anybody else. I love that. To be the fighter you need to be, to withstand social pressures, reclaim your individuality, and conquer life, you must first conquer your mind, change it, and your mindset, and you will be able to tune into your own channel and block out the white noise of life around you. First, get to know and draw upon your natural strengths and master them in this endeavor. Play to your strengths. They will guide your path and take you to where you need to be. I think that was pretty straightforward. Enough said. I want to get on to chapter 5 before our time runs out today. Chapter 5, divergent thinking, thinking without a box. The opening quote, my favorite. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Robert Frost. Dear society, Life is jazz, a living, breathing, constantly changing tune. The important thing is to not get caught up in the plan. The plan might cause you to miss your solo. To successfully play the tune requires an open mind, vision, spatial awareness, instincts, grounding, flexibility, and improvisation. It requires divergent thinking. Live the jazz life and live life without a box. We often get discouraged and do not see how the dots are connected due to social constructs and the white noise of expectations around us. Life experiences, how we think, and the paths we choose play important roles in our journey, discovery, and outcome. What is seemingly not connected in your mind is, but without discovery of the other part, the big picture will not come to pass until the right time. You simply need the keys to open endless possibilities to your world. Muhammad Ali once said, "The man who has no imagination has no wings." I'll insert woman. If you want to change the trajectory of your life, you must think differently from the norm. You must free your thinking. Until you learn to access this superpower, you will never be able to overcome social conditioning so that you may define your own path. As we get older, our thoughts about what is possible become more and more limited. Tuning into your channel, reprogramming your mind, and learning to control and redirect your thoughts are necessary steps to help you tune out the noise of society and connect the dots to achieve your purpose. Children innately explore and exercise this gift. Remember, the child who colors outside the lines, she is already exercising her superpower. Her little mind has not been exposed to the systematic conditioning involved in traditional educational models. Her imagination leads the way in her world, and it is one without limits or restrictions to a dominant hemisphere of the brain, right or left. Her mind is free and clear of impossibilities and will continue to be so until it is guided toward one or the other. At some point, she must choose, or must she? Perhaps she is the next Picasso, Krista McAuliffe, or Major General Marcelette J. Harris, and she sees something that we cannot because it is not our time to see it. Coloring outside the lines with a different spatial awareness is part of her journey and her way of connecting the dots subconsciously and finding her purpose. Outside forces that interfere with that process, just because she is supposed to be coloring inside the lines, interfere with the creative process and her discovery of who she is and what she is capable of. What is the fear here? That she won't be like everyone else? That is a gift, not a burden. While some might reach for explanations of teaching order and discipline or other, psychological reasons for enforcing adherence to line, structure, and the like, we miss a key opportunity to ask the child why they are coloring outside the lines. We more readily instruct them to return to the lines and chalk it up to justification that they have no artistic talent, didn't understand the exercise, or that they are simply being rebellious. It was always difficult for me to color inside the lines of what most people who look at a coloring book drawing would consider the central focus. Even as a child, try as I would, my mind would always go to the big picture and work inward. By doing so, I had more options in approach, color, palette, and combination, creativity, and the ability to change my mind before arriving at a central focus of the picture, as I saw it. If something was missing, I would add it. My divergent little mind was already at work, marching to the beat of my creative little soul. But as I moved further into the educational process, I had to color inside the lines to get the grade and be promoted as normal for that grade level competency. As adults, we spend too much time setting our mind right and conquering the fear of life and potential outcomes. The risk tolerance for most people is extremely low and the fear extremely high. Therefore, our need to control the situation is off the charts. As children, we have no concern about the world. It is all about individuality and exploration. There is no need to set our mind right or to conquer fears. We are fearless until we are taught to think inside the box and learn fearful behaviors. Our personalities and aptitudes become shaped and determined by that box. Folks, We've run out of time for today, but there's so much more to share. And we're going to share it next week and the next several weeks as we talk about the divergent soul and divergent thinking. I hope you found nuggets to take away in this episode, and that you found life applications. You had revelation, reconciliation, and renaissance, and that you move forward in freedom and empowerment as the divergent soul that you are. So my call to action is to reflect, stay plugged in, check out our Defining Paths community on Facebook, Next Steps for Women, Defining Paths community are some options. And then if you're interested in just learning more about us, training, if you have your business, if you're on the entrepreneurial path, come check out the Pivot Maestro, maestro.com/DP-membership. Come join us. We are starting a global movement to change the world and bring business opportunity and access to all to help heal, rebuild, and transform lives and business from the inside out. And you can find out more always on our website, definingpaths.online. Join us next week. And until then, what's our mantra, ladies? Strong is the new sexy. Be strong in mind, body, and soul. Define your path and love the skin you're in. I am Doc V, the Pivot Maestro, and always your corner woman. I am my sister's keeper, and I'll see you next week.